Good evening. It is Monday, September 2nd. It is 6:01 p.m. We have all counselors with the exception of Roy Weymouth and present. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening. At this time, I will open it up for public comment if there is anyone in the audience or online that would like to speak or have a matter. Not hearing anything from the audience or seeing anything online, we will move on to item 122, and we will open up the public hearing for the update of the General Assistance Ordinance utilizing the 2025 appendices. We are opening it at 6:02. So at this time, I will welcome our General Assistance Administrator.
Yeah, so let me introduce you folks to, if you haven't met her yet, Jen Greenwald. She's been with us a couple of months now, and she's really doing a fantastic job. I was telling Shannon earlier that we got a email from the state GA office, and I was CC'd on it. It was just a giant gold star because she'd handled a really difficult case in a really professional manner, and they were very impressed. And so I happen to know the guy who sent the email, and I said, yeah, she's doing a much better job than the last two yahoos who were processing applications. To which he replied, oh, you guys weren't that bad. So I would agree. Yeah, but she's doing a great job. And so what you have before you this evening is really perfunctory. You know that either the ordinance per the state is updated each year, or at least the appendices. And so these appendices are the maximums for all the different categories for which we do provide general assistance. And it's typically specific to our jurisdiction, which is Kennebec County. The only real change, substantive change in this year is if you go into your appendices, behind those you will see this page right here that says 2025-26 GA housing maximums. And so you see what the maximum is for recovery residences, and this is specific to recovery residents. So if a facility has 25 beds or less, the maximum amount that we could of assistance that we could give to an individual staying in a recovery residence after October 1st is $726. For facilities of 26 or more beds, that amount is limited to $508.20. So that $508.20, that is 70% of the $726. And so the $726, we would be contributing 30% of that. We'd get reimbursed 70% of that from the state. The 508, that's only the state 70%. So we will initially pay that, but we will get 100% of that $508.20 back. So no, that's weekly. So this is monthly. Yes. And so again, huge thanks to State Representative Tavis Hassenfuss for really helping to make this happen, because currently in the state, there's only one facility that has more than 25 beds, and it is located here in Winthrop. But this also serves as a safeguard for other communities that might be facing the sort of financial pressure that we have over the last couple of years by having such a large recovery residence in our community. And so the sheet behind that, again, this is for Kennebec County, and this gives you, it's a sort of a cheat sheet of all the different maximums for Kennebec County. So once the public hearing closes, we would ask that you simply approve these. These will become the new maximums that will be in effect October 1st, and we'll just put those at the end of our current GA ordinance. There's nothing that the state is recommending that we change in the ordinance itself this year. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
So thank you for explaining all that. I think I got a gist of it. I just want to kind of get some clarification that, so we're basically following policy that's already been state approved or
Yes.
passed?
Yes, so for anyone who's listening or watching this after the fact, the General Assistance Program is a state program, state
Correct.
mandated program that the towns are required to administer. And basically that involves us processing applications and then typically providing 30% of the assistance that is given to any individual here in our community.
Great, that helps. Thank you.
All right. Is there anything from the audience? Anything online? All right, so at this time, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. It is 6:07. And move on to item 123, consideration of the update of the general assistance ordinance utilizing the 2025 appendices.
Move to approve the update of the general assistance ordinance utilizing the 2025 appendices.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All are in favor. Thank you very much, Jen, for coming in tonight.
Nice meeting you.
And she really is, she's doing a great job, and she's also been a great help to both the code enforcement officer and the planner as well. So she's taking care of all the administrative stuff, and they're able to focus on strictly code enforcement and planning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your help as well. All right, have a good night. Moving on to item 124, consideration of transient seller permit application for Cajun Chaos LLC DBA NOLA's. Oh, yes, I do.
Just tidy that up.
All right, is there a suggested motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Looks like they're out of North Monmouth, so they're just looking to like a food truck?
Yes, they want to operate within our community.
Sure. And any specific location that they'll be parking at? It's kind of just kind of a public announcement for everybody here.
No, so just wherever the action is happening,
Okay, sounds great.
which is probably in front of the vault 1 weekend a month.
Great, thank you.
Should say to representative, I'm just curious what their hours are.
Yeah,
gonna
that
be.
was- yeah.
I'd love to go try that out. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion, and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All are in favor, thank you. Moving on to item 125, discussion of the beginning of the school year with Dr. Becky Foley, Superintendent of Schools, who is here present, and we do have a letter from her, a memorandum.
Thank you for inviting me in to talk about the opening. We've really had a really good start. It's gone well. Our theme for this year is innovate to elevate, take a chance. And we're really encouraging all staff to try new strategies in their department to try to improve efficiencies and to improve student achievement. I also looked at the enrollment today, and our official enrollment day is October 1st, so this is definitely not the official number, but it's looking really positive. It's currently up over 5%. Last year, our October 1st enrollment was 802, and as of today, we have 845 students, so that's really great news. Transportation is going well. We did have a few delays due to the paving on Main Street, but everyone remained flexible, and most of the transportation glitches have been resolved. Our sports teams are also well underway and doing very well. In football and field hockey, we're undefeated, so go Ramblers. And since I last provided you with an update, we have settled and finalized both our transportation and support staff contracts, so that's really good news. And this year, we will be negotiating the administrators' contracts. We currently have 2 unfilled positions in the district. One is at the middle school for the new position, the interventionist/English teacher. The other one is currently in 2nd grade, and we continue to advertise for those. Anthony said you'd love to hear an update on the electric buses, which I probably would have just left off there. But anyway, instead, I did put that in there. Back in May, I reached out I received a contact for the EPA, and so I reached out to them and wrote our concerns in an email, and they answered, which I was pleased with, on May 29th. And they said that they were in the process of creating a formal response and that the agency is trying to determine next steps. And I have written to them recently again to say, hey, I am trying to be patient, because they said, thank you for your patience, but it's been 4 months, and can you provide me with another update? So I'll let you know when I hear from them. We did hear from the state just in the past week about potential vendors we could use for repairs, but it would be at our expense because the company has been bought out and rebranded as Lion, and they have notified all of us with buses that they would not honor any warranties. What we have found in the past is that when Lion did come out and repair the buses, it was only a matter of weeks before we were getting other error messages. And so because this is on our dime, I have chosen not to try to continue to repair them, because I just think, you know, it's an endless hole that we really do not have the money to keep going down there. Our buses remain plugged in because I'm concerned about, that was one of the conditions of the contract. And so I feel like that is costing us money, electricity, to keep them plugged in. But until I get an update saying it's okay to unplug them, I'm very hesitant to do so. So that's really the bus update. It's not much good news, so that's why I kind of stuck it in the middle of the report. On October 14th, Alicia and I plan to attend the Charter Commission meeting and provide input on needed revisions. I know that you guys are reviewing that charter. And it really won't be long before we begin working on the FY27 budget. I do want to end with a piece of good news. We did end the year in the black with about $300,000 remaining. That is unaudited, so that number could change just like the enrollment number. That's about 2.9% of our total budget. The state allows us to have up to 10%. And I think when you're being fiscally sound and best practice, you want it at least 5%, but I'm thrilled that we're in the black. And I think that's due to the hard work of all of the staff with the frozen budget. And then as positions came open last year, we didn't fill some of them, which is unfortunate, but it is the way we were able to get through the year. And that concludes my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Hi, thanks for coming up. Not to beat the dead horse on the buses, but is there anybody, and I know you wrote it in here very nicely, that Yarmouth's in the same position in Camden. Is any type of talks, have you talked with any of those administrators from those schools, districts, to talk about maybe possible lawsuit against Lion, the parent company, to talk about, I'm concerned, it'd be nice just to get a letter from them saying, or from the state saying, we're off the hook, we can unplug those suckers, right?
Yes.
So, and then we can take that step
Yes.
number one. Step two would be like, okay, come hook onto them and take them out of here because we're done with them. I mean, and we don't want to have any repercussions of paying for them, because I know it was a funded, government funded
Yeah.
grant that we paid for them from. So I just don't want to be on the hook for them. But I'd like to just get them unplugged. Anyway, we can, like, maybe the three of you guys could form a letter with all three of you signing from each school district saying that's what you'd like to consider, because it's in the contract, but you'd like to have it removed or stricken from it.
Yes, we have basically done that. The buses in Camden and SAD 13, theirs is working, they said. They've reported this week when I reached out to them. Yarmouth is in the same predicament we're in with, you know, the error messages, and they're not working. But we have done that. I have a superintendent, I think, that's in Michigan that I'm partnering with. He has sent a very strong letter also, and we're just, yeah, we're we're trying. Right, and I know that the state, the DOE has also formed a letter and sent from the Department of Education to the EPA, so they're also advocating for us. Glenn Cummings sent that letter.
Nobody from the district attorney or anybody that can help us out, because this seems like kind of like fraud, to me. I mean, they're keeping us, the electricity bills can plug it in for absolutely no reason. I mean, it's not,
Correct.
it's definitely not keeping the heartbeat on these. It's just keeping the error codes alive. So,
Right, right. I would agree with that.
Aaron?
Thank you, Dr. Foley, for coming and providing this update. And thank you for all the hard work over the last year to get us where we're at. Quick question, is there insurance being paid on those buses? I imagine there has to be some type of.
That's a good question, Aaron. I'm sure there probably is.
Okay.
And so that's interesting because maybe we could at least drop that if we feel like we're not driving them anymore.
Yeah, be definitely something to look into. I think the only strategy right now, because this is, mandated through a federal program, is an injunction in the federal courts to somehow basically say, nope, this is no longer, it's void, the contract that is, and that might be the only way to get rid of them in the meantime. Aside from that, I guess I appreciate everything that looks like we're rounding the corner to some degree, and I look forward to working with you guys moving
Thank you.
forward.
Yeah, quick note, just I'm thinking I deal with electricity all day. So it's getting colder, so it's gonna take more electricity technically to recharge those as we get into the winter.
Correct.
So definitely kind of not to push the pedal on that, but probably worth reaching out to see if we can just figure it out before these cold months come in. So other than that, I got nothing.
I appreciate that.
I'm good.
Dr. Foley, thank you very much.
welcome.
I do want to say that I was told that in the pre-K program, that this is the first year in a little while that they've had all 3 of the classes filled.
We're full.
So
We
that-
may even have 1 or 2 on the waiting list. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's great news. So thank you very much for coming in and presenting to us tonight.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. Item 126, discussion and consideration of authorizing the use of up to $220,000 from the undesignated fund for road paving. And I do see our Public Works Director in the audience. Kevin Doyle is here. Anthony, did you want to go over any of that?
Yeah, so I'm sure you've had time to read the background memo, but you may recall in this year's budget, we have $525,000 budgeted for paving. We've spent about half of that on Mount Pisgah Road, paving Mount Pisgah Road, which is good. And so we currently have a balance of $300,000 to work with. So our next priority is paving Old Lewiston Road. And if we did that at a cost of $226,000, we'd be left with about $75,000 for paving for the rest of the year. So our Public Works Director is here proposing that we move forward with 5 projects that would require some additional funding. The first of those is the transfer station at a cost of $113,000. Now, as you might imagine, there are few public facilities, if any, that get used as much as the transfer station does. So we feel like that would be a worthy and valuable project. And then there are 4 roads that we had planned to repave last year, but there was still some sewer and water utility work happening on those roads. So instead, we use those dollars and put it towards paving Rambler Road. But those are Welch's Point Road, Turtle Run Road, Island Park Road, and Little Cobbessy Avenue. And if you've driven on any of those roads recently, they're in sad, sad shape. So, a lot of people, when we posted about this online, raised the question, well, why are you doing those roads? Those aren't highly traveled roads, which is correct. But what you typically try to do with a paving project is 2 things. You try to work within the budget. And so none of these individually are all that expensive as far as paving goes. But the second thing you do is you try to congregate roads and pave them all at one time. Because if you're paving roads in the 4 quadrants of the city, each time the contractor has to move equipment and materials, they charge a mobilization fee. So instead of paying mobilization fees, what we've tried to do here is identify 4 roads that are in close proximity to one another where we wouldn't be paying additional mobilization fees. So when you take those roads plus the transfer station, that equals about $266,000, less the nearly $75,000. It leaves a funding gap of $192,000. So as you all will recall, we ended the year with $1 million revenue surplus. We've spent $357,000 of that so far on an ambulance. And so what we're proposing now is of that $642,000 that's left, we use $200,000 towards paving, plus a $20,000 contingency. Always good to have a contingency in case there's something unforeseen that happens. And of course, any unused contingencies would then roll back into the paving budget for FY27. So if you were to follow our recommendation, that would still leave $450,000 of that surplus, which we could then appropriate at some future point for other capital needs or capital reserves. So the reason that we're proposing this is simply because we think addressing the condition of Winthrop streets is, probably our #1 capital priority behind the radio upgrade that we're still waiting on the federal grant for.
All right, thank you. I'm going to open it up to some questions from the council. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I think you and I have discussed this. I'm good with the plan, but I did have a question in my mind about Turtle Run Road, and mostly because I know they're going to do some construction on that road. They're talking about putting the condominiums and the heavy equipment going back and forth over that. Would it be worthy for us to forego and wait for them to finish the construction before they start wheeling on that road?
Well, that would be a Dawn question, Dawn Emerson, the planner, to see where they are with that. But as far as the road itself, I met with the Greater Augusta Utility District last week. I've talked with Dan Wells. They're all good with everything they're doing there. All their work is done.
Yeah.
I met with them last week and they were finalizing and raising
Super,
gates
yeah.
for me. So they're done in the road.
Yeah.
Now, whether there's construction happening
Yeah, I
off
just
of
missed- I
that,
think-
I know
I
there's
just know
some
what-
question.
I know they're going to put some condominiums in there where the old hotel was, the potential was, and I just didn't know, because I know you get.
Well, luckily Dawn is still here. So why don't she's in her
Yeah, can
office.
you check with her?
Yeah,
'Cause-
so why don't I get her in here and while you guys are further discussing this with Kevin,
Yeah.
maybe she can weigh in.
Good. And Kevin, so with that too, and you guys, I think already answered the question, but I'll ask the question. They're giving us the best rate because they don't have to keep juggling equipment around, basically.
Yeah, so there's a little over a $3,000 mobilization fee. So my thought was when we do Old Lewiston Road, we'll do the transfer station at the same time. That'll save us $3,000 right off the top.
Yeah.
For a mobilization fee. And then when we do the other 4, if we do the other 4 roads,
They're
that would be
close.
one
Yeah,
mobilization fee.
yeah,
right?
I think you're smart, especially with the transfer station. I haven't really noticed it bad, but I don't want it to get any worse if it is already bad. I mean, I'm not one that notices 2 bad roads because I drive junk anyway.
You're at
so-
your 65% right now there. If you wait
I
much
know
longer.
it gets very well used
Yeah.
by our community, and it would be nice to make sure it is passable. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Did you want to go? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, well, Andy, go first because it might answer some of my questions. Go ahead.
Basically. There's 2 things, Kevin, about the Turtle Run Road. Okay. One, we won't mention the engineering firm, but when they put the bridge in over the stream,
Yep.
the center line of bearing of that bridge doesn't line up with the center line of the road. You'll see that if you drive down it.
Yep.
And I'm curious if there would be a lot of extra expense to correct the paving so things line up a little bit better.
I can look at it, but when we were out there looking at it, that didn't come up as a question. I think we'll just be able to steer it where it needs to go.
Okay, and then the next thing is, the last time that they repaved that road, during my time at the property over there, I really had the devil of a time to get the grades. The water used to run from 202 right down the road, Turtle Run Road, and then right down by the boat ramp at the hotel and into the lake. So I changed the grades and I got the water mostly running over into the wooded area. And then they repaved the road and put the water back. And then I repaved the driveway a little bit and put the water back. So I guess all I'm asking is that when you repave the road, keep an eye on the grades so that the water doesn't get redirected down the Lakeside Boat Ramp Drive again.
Well, I can tell you that I have my notes right here in front of me.
It's close.
And Turtle Run Road is getting a 3/4 inch hot mixed asphalt shim of 9.5 millimeter. And then it's getting a latex modified single chip over that.
Yeah. So it's really close. You know, and I know it's expensive if you have to start removing hot top, but I mean,
Yeah, we're not doing that.
it's within an inch. Well, I mean, that's not my call. I'm just telling you, it's
Right.
been an issue before.
Yep.
We read the quick chat message that just came up. I think it was a suggestion about a road.
Bruce Pinewood, I think. Right behind it.
How about Penwood Drive? It is horrible. Residents are complaining about road condition. Is this on the radar?
Yeah, it is. I can't give you the exact time frame, but it is on the program that we're running. And so Knickerbocker, Forest, Hanson, Beal, Green, all of those in that area, yep, are on a plan.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin, for Island Park Road, can you explain, does that go all the way across the bridge onto that island that we're paving
No, it
Okay.
stops just before the bridge.
just before the bridge? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
And then what about the left off of that? Is that
No.
that's
That's
not
the
being
main
done, just
travel way.
just
Yep.
there? Okay. And Little Cobussy Avenue is on the other side of 202, correct?
Yep.
Goes down to the Little Cobussy. And are each of these getting the same exact
Treatment?
strategy? Yeah.
No.
No, okay.
So Welch's Point has got an 1.5 inch of hot mixed overlay shim using a 12.5 millimeter. It's a little thicker stone. And then a latex modified chip over that as your wear surface. Turtle Run has a 3/4 inch hot mixed asphalt of 9.5 and then a latex modified chip out on top of that. Island Park is getting a 1.5 inch hot mixed asphalt leveling shim of 12.5 and that's all that's getting. And then Little Cobussy is getting an 1.5 inch hot mixed asphalt spot shimming where we need to of 12.5 and then a 1 inch hot mix asphalt shim of 9.5 as your wear surface for latex modified chip.
And those choices were with your input?
Mhm.
Okay, just want to make, because you inherited most of this, right?
I did,
Okay.
and I met with Hunter, and we went over a lot of these things. I've used those things before. They're okay on low volume roads
Okay.
like that.
Okay,
You know, everything, nothing lasts forever, but
gotcha.
you know what I mean? This is the best option cost-wise for those roads.
That's all I needed to hear. Thank you.
So Jim, Dawn has Elvis has left the building, so she's not here, but we could follow up with questions if you'd like. Yeah, I don't know that the die has been cast on that project simply because there's, the planning board is still working through it. And Andy, I think you've attended some of those meetings. Is that, yeah.
Trying to keep my distance because there's an obvious conflict, but they are still working on it.
Are there any other questions from the council? All right.
The Run Road.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
To
I
my-
add
to
in,
my knowledge, that's going to be a renovation project, so we won't be talking about concrete trucks and stuff like that.
actually meant to ask this and I forgot. This isn't really, I support this, but I just wanted to know, can you, before you leave tonight, just touch on the Main Street and why the state is just doing the middle?
Yep. So the state came in and did the travel lane and they're waiting for the water district to raise their structures,
To finish, yeah.
to finish it, to finish paving. I've had some calls on that, to say the
too.
least.
Me too.
It is a state road. We don't get any notification. Now, my understanding and what I've learned is that Allstate, the paving company, is only required to give the state 24 hours notice before they pave it.
Why aren't they doing the shoulder?
All, as far as I know, all they're doing is a travel lane, and then I was told that they're going to seal the shoulders like they did on 202.
Then
That's
can we
what I
get
was
someone
told.
from them in here at some point and, or can you reach out to them and just say, hey, what's the process? What are we looking at like next? Is this like a temporary thing? Are they? It's our
So,
main street, so I really want to know what's going on.
yeah, so let me ask Kevin. Kevin, when we last talked, which was about a week ago, I think you said it was probably 3 weeks out of when they anticipated finishing that project. Do you know if that's still the case?
Yeah, so according to Allstate, my person at Allstate, what they told me, it was about 3 weeks, and they were working with the railroad to make sure that they have somebody there, because that's part of the issue.
So the person who's in charge of this region is a fellow named Tom Roberts, and he's usually super responsive. So I'll reach out to Tom to see if he might be able to attend the meeting on the 6th.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? All are in favor. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Item 127, discussion of draft amendments to the administrative code.
Yeah, so let me make clear, we're not seeking a decision tonight. We're just seeking input into what we've provided you previously with the administrative code, and that has both input from the town manager, the town clerk, and the town attorney. So before we schedule a public hearing on this, we just wanted to make sure that you folks were comfortable with it. Just as a reminder, our charter requires us to have an administrative code. This code was adopted in 1987. It was amended in 1990, and we're assuming that nothing's been done to it in the last 35 years. And so there were some places where we needed to update it simply because the way it described our doing business no longer matched the practice. And so again, we've worked with the town attorney on this, and we think we have it close to a finished product, but we just wanted to get your input before we schedule any public hearings.
So going a couple blocks ahead to Division of Roads. I believe it's on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just says Division of Highways or Roads, and the comment would rename it to roads since the town isn't responsible for the maintenance of highways. But reading through the paragraph, there are a couple of the ongoing operations of the Highways Division.
You're correct. So if we do change that to roads, yeah, we would want to change it to the roads division of Public Works. Good catch.
And I just had a question going back 2 pages to the Elections Division, the addition of a registration appeals board for municipalities over a population of 5,000. Is this something that this council would annually approve, just like we approve the registrar of elections and elections personnel?
So that's a question that's best answered by our town clerk. So let me ask her about that, and I'll email you folks. You know, I'm assuming that's the case, but then you know what happens when we assume.
Okay. Other questions from the council?
I looked this, I don't see any big gaps, any big problems.
Hmm.
We're taking changes or anything.
No, we're just seeking input. And so
You did include the previous administrative code in here just to show what the amendments were.
Yeah.
That's what that second part is.
no, the second part's actually a clean copy without all the editing marks.
Okay. Different.
If I were going to say there's sort of the biggest change. So there is in here verbiage about a recreation department. And at least in my mind, we don't really have a recreation department. We help support a recreation program that is administered chiefly by the YMCA. And so when I asked the attorney about that, he said, yeah, unless you have a department with your own employees in it, then you probably should remove that from the administrative code.
Does, one, how easy would it be to put it back if we needed it? No problem, just by an action, right?
Yeah, it's a simple matter of simply amending it in the same way that we'd be amending this document right now.
Two, employees that Lonnie hires during the summer, are those fall under him or are they under the town?
So we pay them.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say they're our employees, but Lonnie is not our employee. We don't pay Lonnie anything,
Should we keep?
but we have the building.
Because we have a budget for it.
Well, if we were to keep it, I would say we should change it from recreation department to recreation program.
Okay.
Because it's not really a department. Okay.
I think long-term, a long time ago, we had a rec committee. It went defunct, and then more recently, we had a rec committee, and I think it's more or less defunct again. But the idea when the ambulance moved out was to make that, the rec building and put the Y in there. I question in the long term, Lonnie's not going to be here forever, and I question, we're one of the very few towns in the state now that has a local Y. So I'm thinking in the long term, maybe when Lonnie retires, it's possible that the Y won't move, replace Lonnie. And we're going to end up forming our own rec department or something. There are still some people that meet as a rec committee just casually. So yeah, I do think we want to preserve the ability to pop that back in here without a whole lot of notice and, 90 days and all that stuff. We just, how much does it require if we're going to put that back?
Yeah, it's a fairly simple process. So,
good.
and if we leave it in there and we just change it from program to department, if we start a department, we just change the verbiage in that regard. And I think we may be a little bit off topic here, but I agree. Oh gosh, I agree with Andy. So, and Shannon and I have talked a little bit about this. I think when Lonnie retires, I think it gives us an opportunity to sit down and talk with the Y about how we want to move forward. I mean, obviously the recreation program has great value for the community, especially for families where the parents work. And so, what do we want that to look forward moving? What do we want that to look like moving forward? And at the same time, are there opportunities to do even more programming during other parts of the year? I can't recall if I've mentioned to you folks previously, but Monmouth recently hired a recreation director, and the town manager there has approached us about whether or not that's something we would want to partner with them moving forward at some point. And I think we should be open to all options when that.
I agree. I think all options should be open, and I think we should kind of wait for Lonnie to retire and see what the Y presents to us. And I think it's important because it's always been a good relationship with the Y, and we'd want to keep that because where we have it, especially out on Cobussy, we use this, the sports fields out there as well for the kids from playing soccer and some other instances. So I think it's important to still have that conversation. Let's just kind of wait and see.
Yeah, and the participation has swelled over the last couple of years, highest numbers that they've ever had as far as participation.
Co-partnering is definitely something we should look at that on all levels. Yes.
So a couple more questions. So for the Board of Assessment Review is appointed. Is that something we've also appointed previously?
Yes.
Okay. And then,
And right now, I think we only have like one member of that, right? It's a 3-member board, but I think we only have one member right now.
okay.
And the
Yes.
Board of Assessment Review. And that's something
Yeah.
that it's going to be critical that we have a full board once we do the reassessment, because they may be involved in the appeals process of that.
We have, who's the member?
I don't recall off the top.
Okay, but we have One, I probably should just talk to Aaron about it, but we do have, last I checked, we had one member that was still on the board that isn't going to be, let's just leave it at that. Okay, they've become unavailable. So maybe Aaron and I should sit down and look at that. No, that's the Board of Assessment
Oh,
Review.
assessment, yeah.
Yeah, it is gonna, once we do the reeval, we're gonna have to have some people there.
Some work to do.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, under Division of Health for the health officer, is that something we usually have that falls under the codes enforcement or emergency medical? Is that something that could be absolved under that? Because I would think the Conservation Commission might fall under the other agencies like the Watershed or Board of Trustees for Winthrop.
Right now, it has to be.
So you're just talking about sort of where these things could go in the code. So,
Yeah.
So I would not put the health officer under code enforcement. I mean, that's what we've done in the past, but that is now one of our paramedics is serving in that regard. I did. Yeah. And then as far as the Conservation Commission, so what was your suggestion there,
I
Shannon?
didn't know if that would fall down under other related agencies, kind of like the Board of Trustees for the Winthrop Utilities or the Cobussy Watershed District.
Well, those are organizations that are separate and apart from the town. So what we might do instead is place the Conservation Commissions sort of in conjunction.
Don't we
with
have the budget for them? They fall under a budget for us as well, right? A
Well, we
budget
do
line.
contribute to each
Yes.
of those organizations'
Yeah.
budgets. But the Conservation Commission, we might put in conjunction with the town planner, since the town planner is the staff liaison for that.
Obviously, Watershed District, we have two, right, Anthony? We have two representatives on that board. Which the town council gets to appoint.
Anything else from the council? All right. Thank you, Anthony.
All right, so we will schedule this for a public hearing on October the 6th, first reading.
All right, moving on to item 128, consideration of the town's voting delegate at the Maine Municipal Association's annual business meeting. And so that will be held the 8th and 9th of October in Bangor. And so our town manager will be attending and he's willing to serve as our voting delegate. All right,
Second.
any discussion? All right, so there is a motion to approve Anthony Wilson as our town's voting delegate for the Maine Municipal Association's meeting on the 8th and 9th of October.
I'm sure Anthony will do a great job.
All in
Compliment deserves another.
All in favor? All are in favor. Thank you very much. All right, item 129, consideration of approval of the minutes of August 4th and August 18th. Any discussion? All in favor? All are in favor. Item 130, consideration of the July 2025 disbursement warrants tabled from the August 18th, 2025 meeting. Didn't.
It's not
So,
here.
so Roy is not here, but this is the July warrant and we're now deep into September. So we'd like to go ahead and get that approved.
Do we, yeah. So I'll just make a motion. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to approve the July 2025 disbursement warrants from table from August 18th, 2025 meeting. So
Any discussion?
I looked at him online. I didn't see any problems. So.
All in favor? All are in favor. Item 131, consideration of recommendations from the Appointments Committee.
None at this time.
None. All right, thank you. And moving on to other business, I will open it up for public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to come to the podium and state their name, or anyone online that has a public comment.
Come right up and
Why don't you come to the microphone and
then we can.
Just want to know, I'm David Brennan. Been in this town most of my life. Not all of it yet. I just wondered what's going on with the drug rehab places. Is Winthrop paying for, what's going on with it?
Yeah, so I think what's taking place now, Dave, is we are paying for them. They have general assistance required by law. They're covered to have general assistance, and we get reimbursed up to 70%. That home that's downtown, that was the old Nicholson Nursing Home, is over 25 beds, and Tavis put into law, which just got passed. We will only pay. We get reimbursed 100%, so we're only paying out a certain portion. So anything we spend out to them, we get reimbursed fully.
Is that property, real estate getting taxed?
It is.
Yes.
So it's not tax exempt?
No, correct.
Okay. What about the one on,
Turkey Lane?
it's the old nursing home. My mother died
Yeah,
there.
okay, yeah.
Up near your
Yep,
dad's.
yeah. Down there, that one's not, that's still vacated. There's nothing going on with that building today that we know of.
That's just the problem I have. We're, supporting drug rehab, but nobody can die in Winthrop anymore. My dad had to go to Lewiston to die.
Agreed. We
That's-
really miss having something like that for elderly care in town. Wish we could have somebody come back and take it over, but we don't. The only other home I think that was just mentioned to me is we have the one that's the old Dorothy Egg Farms, Angel Wings, which are up there. And I think they're a smaller organization, but they don't have as many beds. So we do pay them up to, and we get reimbursed up to 70%. So the town is on the hook for 30% of that, but it's not nearly as large as what it was taken up from us down at the old Nicholson Nursing Home.
Yeah, from what I understand, there's nobody in Winthrop as a resident in either one of those places.
That's correct.
Or we're supporting it.
Well, so, yeah, so
Is Winthrop required to have these places?
We're not required, but we're required to provide general assistance, and we've already gone through the paces of asking why here and do we have to allow them here? And we've we've been kind of guided that we don't have really a choice. They can't operate here.
So they don't support the elderly that have paid taxes all their life and dying.
Yes,
We
understood.
support other people.
Correct.
We don't
Still
even
fit
know.
within the zoning.
Yeah, we looked
Went
into
through
it,
all of it.
and
It's not right.
we support. I kind of support your thought process, Dave. I completely get it, but
Yeah.
we are on the hook right now. So, and thank God for Tavis and Greg Hickman, which supported us. So now we're not fully on the hook for the one at the old Nicholson Nursing Home right now.
And does every town have to have a place like that? Or why is it Winthrop?
Not every town has one. It's the organization that comes to a town that chooses to put up shop, so to speak. I mean, it's not really a shop, but it's where somebody has a building ability to house somebody and they decide to rent it, because I don't think they own the building, they rent it and rehabbed it up to where it's sit today. So it wasn't a decision of the town. It was more, it's a state that we can't change that. And we asked why, because of the location. We really not, we like to support the people who are trying to be in rehab and doing it properly. But we all had our same questions, probably just diving in your head. We'd like to have places for our elderly so we can visit them, and also location, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I
Thank
just
you.
know Channel 8's going to investigate it and wonder why the nursing homes have been turned into drug rehabs.
No.
So they're going to start working on it, I
Yeah,
guess.
no, I think it is, Dave. I think something should be done, but at this point, our hands are tied.
Right.
We did do our due diligence on it, so
All right.
thank you for coming up.
Yep, thank you.
Comment?
Yeah, I have a comment. No one likes to pay out the money, okay? But I will tell you that, I've been working on establishing some kind of a relationship with the management over there. And some of the people over there have provided a great public service, helping out some of the community organizations. And also, I've been able to connect up some of the people over there with some of the local residents, mostly elderly. No offense, I'm elderly too, but, and they've been willing and help out. And, I think that if we handle all this correctly, this can be an asset to our community and our community's reputation. I mean, the money comes hard, I admit that, but there's no reason that, we need to just flat out look down on them. We look at them and work with them and see if they can be part of our community,
Great.
my opinion.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to if there's nothing else online, anything else in the audience? All right, we'll move on to the town manager's Hold on, one more comment. Oh, thank you, Kevin, earlier for your response. Moving on to the town manager's report.
So you may have seen, I guess it was a week and a half ago now, the town of Winthrop got a major award from Efficiency Maine for our work in installing energy efficient infrastructure, such as the lights in this room, and they're continuing to go up in all the other facilities. So I'm sure you saw it, but I still wanted to call attention to it because it was very nice to be honored that way. But at the same time, we had a lot of gratitude for the help of Efficiency Maine and the Community Action Grant in making those projects possible. Absentee ballots will be available in less than 2 weeks for the November elections. So we'll have a city council election along with a state ballot as well. So we'll be obviously advertising that to a large extent in the next 2 weeks. Some of you have expressed a interest in attending the Charter Commission meeting that will happen next. That's at 6 p.m. on October the 14th. So you are council members, but you're also citizens, and so you're welcome to come and participate in that discussion. I want to talk about two things with EMS. First, something that we've been talking about for a while now. So we have run all the traps as to how we could best prepare that facility for winter time and the attic. And what we've landed on is that breathable homes going in and spraying in the insulation is the best option for us. We looked at dropping the heads, but you still would have had to have insulated up there to some extent in order to protect the pipes. We looked at moving all of that infrastructure below the drop ceiling, and that would have been way more expensive than the breathable home. So the chief is working to schedule that work. It's going to take 2 weeks, and during that time, we're going to have to vacate the premises. So our ambulance service will be operating out of the fire station as that project is going on. But Chief Moretto is already working with Chief Brooks to work on those logistics. So that's how we're moving forward with that. Something else before we start delving into this too deeply, Chief Moretto would also like to restructure the EMS service. He thinks that the service can better be served by not having a deputy chief and instead having sort of a shift commander for each of the shifts. So what he's proposing is that we would actually start another shift. Now, that doesn't mean we'd be working any more hours than we currently are. It's just how we would divide the work, but we would have a fourth shift, which would then necessitate 2 more full-time employees. And so we did the math, and once you take the deputy chief's salary and and the benefits that were paid for that position, one of those new hires would then take all that money for the benefits. You have about $82,000 for the salary. You take another $36,000 for the second full-time employee's benefits. And so that leaves you with a savings of $46,000. Once you factor in some additional overtime for change of shift rotation and the stipend for the shift officers, we'll actually be spending $17,000 less than we would have by filling the deputy chief's position. And we still think we would have oversight of the shifts and that it would better serve the department. This would require us to renegotiate a portion of the union contract in order to account for this different way of operating. But before we began those, I just wanted to just check with, at least in theory right now, we're not committing you to anything, but at least in theory, if this is something you think we should talk about and flesh out more with the EMS.
Supervisor level?
They're just being paid a stipend for that. So no. So again, we're not working any more hours than we do. We staff 2 trucks 24/7. It's just how the shifts would be divided. And so it's no more money than we would be spending otherwise. And we think this could actually result in a decrease in overtime for the EMS.
So just so I understand, he wants to add additional personnel to a shift. Independent.
No,
of being
no,
on the
no,
truck?
no, we wouldn't be adding additional personnel to a shift. We'd be creating a new shift.
I guess my question would be, that's how it used to be. Why wouldn't we utilize the full-time staff already and just designate 2 of them as shift supervisors? Versus hiring 2 more people?
Well, so what we fully anticipate is 2 people who are currently per diems are going to,
He just wants some more full-time staff, maybe. He's just
well,
trying to,
when you
like,
say
cut
it like,
two things. Maybe he's
when you
trying,
say-
I'm just trying to think through, I'm wondering if he's trying to fill the hours a little bit more efficiently, potentially, and then using this as a way to do it. Do you know?
well, the way that you said it made it sound like kingdom growing a little bit. And no, I think what he's trying to do is operate a little bit more efficiently with shift supervisors as opposed to a deputy chief. And so the reason we think that this might result in less overtime is because we would be going from weeks where we would have 48 hours. You'd have 48 and 36 right now currently. 1 week could be 48 hours. The second week would be 36 hours. We would go instead to 24 hours and 48, and then 48 and 48. So the new schedule would be 24 hours on, 72 hours off, sort of like a firefighter shift, with the week that the 24 falls on a Wednesday. So that'll be the only shift for that week.
Do you know if this, so when we say an additional shift, it's a supervisor shift, right?
No, no,
Scheduling?
no. So there would still be, it would be 2 paramedics, 2 EMTs on that shift.
He's adding a shift. Sounds like he's adding a shift. Taking that salary. You're
But additional 2 full-time employees then?
Yes.
Okay.
basically flipping that one position.
Right now, we have how many full-time there?
Oh, gosh, we have 6.
So this will be bringing it to 8.
Mhm.
And they would be supervisory, but they
No,
also.
no, not all, yes, yes, you're right. You're right.
But they still like are assigned with an EMT to work a truck,
Yes,
not the fly car, well, like over.
right. No, no, the staffing of the trucks would not change.
I'm curious.
He's trading it for 2, basically the deputy for 2 full-time,
Mhm.
kind of like you presented it. Made more sense to me.
And so as shift supervisors, and Aaron, frankly, you would probably know more about this than I would, they would inherit some of the duties that the deputy chief had
Right.
taken.
It seems like a charge nurse or something.
Well,
that's on the floor.
that's how.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That's how it
And
was
in
for.
turn, that shift, your lead. You handle some of the big duties of responding
They
or
used to have-
answering.
They used to have 2 captains, and those were the only full-time, and those were the supervisory.
Yeah.
ones that-
Okay.
So, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Yes.
I do have one other question. Is how were, I mean, I know Chief came from another facility where they were operating and he's involved and knows a lot of other departments. How are other departments operating? Are they some operating in this capacity?
I think that's where how Medcare operates. They work a director to.
Then the shift,
And that's correct.
So, okay. So he's used to it, so he kind of can understand it and delegate it.
And if we
How it used
can,
to be
if we can negotiate something with the union, I mean, obviously, Chief Moretto would then come back to you and provide maybe a fuller explanation than what I have tonight. But, you know, we think we would still be able to meet the supervisory needs of the service at an annual cost that's $17,000 less than having a
And I
deputy.
do see this will probably also help offset our overtime challenges.
Yeah.
Right.
Already had, so I'm
we-
for it, I guess.
Are we still operating in, guess, my mind, yeah, are we still doing the summertime? Maybe we did that summertime
No, that
differential, that never,
that has ended
Okay.
and It was a great idea in theory.
Yes.
In practice, it was a wash
Okay.
financially.
So it didn't help either.
It didn't help. And so
Wouldn't want to complicate it anymore.
yeah, and the union was interested in potentially extending that to other parts of the year, but we said if it didn't accomplish what we were hoping to financially, it doesn't make sense
It
to,
was a good test. Okay.
yeah,
All right. Thank you.
we tried. So, okay, so we'll move forward with that. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Yep. Thank you.
I've become distracted now. The police chief asked me to see if you have any interest in our pursuing this. We've had some incidents recently of people camping on public property. And by camping, I don't mean that it was at a campground. One of the places is down the Little League field down there near the Public Works Department is, yeah, is someone has just been living down there. Correct. And so and so we've talked with the town attorney about this, and he said if we really want to, get people out of those spaces, we need an ordinance. And so the police chief would like us to pursue a no camping ordinance on public property. Is that something you're supportive of our?
Yes.
Support it. Yes.
Okay.
Agree with that 100%, but I think that we need to define camping because sure in heck, somebody's going to show up with a sleeping bag and go to sleep on the lawn. And we're going to try to kick them off. And they said, I don't have a camper. I don't have a tent.
Well,
We need to define.
Tailor that.
yeah, so other communities have similar ordinances, so we'll be looking at those as a template. Speaking of ordinances, we got the cemetery ordinance back from the attorney, and he's made some notes on it. And so the cemetery committee is planning on meeting October 14th in order to look over some of those notes and see what they think. So we hope to be bringing an ordinance to you first reading probably sometime in November. At our next, speaking of ordinances, at our next meeting, I had mentioned to you before, there was some ordinances that we found as we were going through the codification process that need to be repealed, including the Footloose ordinance from 1914. So we'll probably schedule the first. To repeal an ordinance is the same process as when you pass one. You got to have a public hearing, 2 readings. You can dispense with the second reading if you like, but we're gonna start that process at the next meeting. Also, I've begun, and if you folks are interested in this, I'm happy to share this. The International City Management Association, ICMA, recently did a webinar on TIF districts, and I was on vacation during the first 2 portions of that webinar, but I was able to purchase it after the fact. And so there's also a book that goes along with it that explains the TIF process and how TIF districts work and what you should consider when you're starting a TIF district. So I read the first 2 chapters of that last week and am now ready to delve into the first part of the webinar. So if anyone wants to check out the book, I'm happy to share that. Just drop me a line and let me know.
I do need to learn.
Okay.
No.
And then lastly, I'm going to work from home on Friday morning because we're going on a little trip Friday afternoon. So I'll be working from home, but we'll be available if you folks need me. And so that's all I have.
I just confirm, you said the cemetery committee on October 14th. That's the charter commission. Did you mean the 6th or the 20th?
No, it's actually, so that cemetery committee meeting will be on the 14th, but they meet earlier in the day than the charter commission.
I've been trying to use the tax map in our tax assessing software stuff, but it's so just stuff to try to track down certain properties. Is there any way we can?
So I tell you what, so if you're running into glitches, what I would suggest is maybe schedule a time to come up here and work with Dawn, and you can show her what you're running into because she's sort of our resident expert with that right now.
So I have two thank yous, basically. One, the first one for thank you to you and your staff for the communication. It seems like every other day we get some kind of alert. And so that's something that I would definitely recommend residents sign up for if they haven't already. The town sends out excellent alerts anywhere from property tax relief to winter sand bids to closing of the office on October 8th to one of the latest ones was the town won an efficiency rating or efficiency award through Efficiency Maine. And so our town manager went on behalf of the town and accepted an award, and I want to
Well, so did our council chair.
I want to thank you and our staff for contributing those 6 different projects through the fire department, the police department, EMS, Public Works, transfer station, and the town offices over the last year. That's a lot of projects. And so just the rebates alone added up significantly to cost savings for the town. So thank you very much for all of your hard work and for your staff.
You're welcome.
Wonderful.
And I appreciate the plug, and I'm going to add to it, winthrop.gov/subscribe, and that's where you can subscribe to all the alerts.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the hard work for the whole council. I think everyone's working towards the town's benefit. I did want to, in looking out, and I may have said already, but Dave and St. both thank you for coming up. I mean, it is been a concern of mine, and I think I've been touting it up here about elderly care, elderly living in this town, and how can we best support it. I would probably say, and I'm not a very political person, but I would say it's how they're reimbursed federally. It's why some of these are closing and regulated, which has really been hamstringing us. But it's been a big concern. I have an elderly mom. I mean, I don't think she's going to leave the farm anytime soon because she's got her roots in there. But, you know, you think about where can you put them close by? And it was always nice to have had that previous when we had 2 of them. But it's been on my mind, and I think some of these other council members was a big concern when we lost that building. Not that they don't deserve to have a place to rehab, and we also wanted to have a place for our elderly. So, but I do thank you to coming and bringing it to the topic to the table. Thank you. Not to my knowledge, it's just vacated, and I don't believe that. I think
Mail signs down, so I don't know if someone.
I don't think it's been. I don't have any knowledge that it's been sold. I guess I could check. I'll check with anybody, and maybe Dawn may know some things are happening. Who's been sold to, but to my knowledge, it's not anything.
I inquired, they tried to sell it to me. So while we have Kevin here, do you have any idea where we can put like a more permanent, like the sand pile down here was just like a temporary fix for the winter residency at sand because we had it in the transfer station. It's not open every day. So that was a big, do you have, or maybe you could work on trying to find a better spot for it? Okay, yeah, thanks. Before we, it'll be like December and like, oh yeah, by the way, we need sand. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Anything else? All right. So the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All right, we have adjourned at 7:09. Thank you.
Make sure that.
Oh, here. Yeah. There's one more in here. It's after 7. Good. Well, good night.